Hi students, for this lesson we are going to talk about how to use Pythagorean Theorem to find a missing side. And that missing side in our case could either be legs or it could be the hypotenuse, which is directly opposite of the right angle. So it is going to be very important for you to actually identify where is our hypotenuse or C before you start finding the missing side. So let's look at some examples. First one, we see the right angle is right there, and this hypotenuse is going to be facing, so you can always just draw the arrow from the right angle. That's got to be our C. So first thing first, always just write out your A, B, and C. So our C in this case is 25 meters, and I'll say our A is our X, and our B is the 24 meters. We're going to use Pythagorean theorem. So A squared plus B squared equals C squared. We just need to plug everything in. So we got A is our X squared, B is 24, so 24 squared, C is 25, so 25 squared. Then we're just gonna calculate it out. X squared plus 24 squared is 576, and 25 squared is 625. And we subtract the 576 from both sides, we would get X squared equals 49. Not plus, that should be equal. Okay. And after that, we still need to solve for x. And this is where a lot of you might have forgotten what we learned. So whenever we see the square, in order to get rid of it, we need the square root, which is the squiggly thing. So square root on both sides. If you type in your calculator, square root of 49, that's got to give you x as 7 meters. That is our final answer. Okay, that's the first one. Now let's talk about two more. So first, start with a right angle facing, that's our C, which is already labeled. So our C, in this case, is just C. Our A, doesn't matter A and B, as long as they are the shorter legs. So let's say A is 2 meters and B is 5 meters. Then we're going to use our Pythagorean theorem. So A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Let's plug them in. Our A is 2, so 2 squared. Our B is 5, so 5 squared, and then our C is just C. Then we calculate it. 2 squared, that's a 4, 5 squared, that's 25. Add them together, that is 29, C squared. Next thing, same thing, whenever we see the square, we are going to use square root. So square root from both sides. And you can use your calculator to calculate out the square root of 29, which in this case, it is 5.39. And don't forget a unit meter. And that is it. So it doesn't quite matter what are we solving for, if it's a C, hypotenuse, or leg in the previous example. You just always set it up as A squared plus B squared equals C squared and solve the equation. So let's talk about one last example. Start with the right angle facing, that is going to be our C. So in this case, our C is 20 centimeter. Doesn't matter which is A, which is B. I'm just going to call A our X and B the 8 centimeter. Then we're going to set it up. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So A is our X, X squared. B is our 8, so 8 squared. C is 20, so 20 squared. And next, we calculate them out. So X squared, the 8 squared is 64. 20 squared, that's 400. So we subtract the 64 from both sides. X squared will actually be 336. Next, again, we see the square thing, so we need to square root both sides. Then we just need to type into our calculator and see what is square root of 336. So after I typed in, I just got x equals 18.33. Don't forget a unit, which is centimeter. And that is how we find a missing side using the Pythagorean theorem. Thank you.